Hey everybody, this is Perch. Went into a Walmart recently, looking just to see what was evolving with comics. So, you might remember back a while ago, DC did these 100-page giant comics with Walmart. I think it's part of an overall deal that DC has had struck to try and get comics moving there. I mean, the goal was to not bring back the newsstand, but at least start to use the channel of a big box store, which is smart. I mean, if you're going into those stores, you can't help but notice that manga is there aplenty. Like that, you can go in, you can find volumes of Demon Slayer, My Hero Academia, Chainsaw Man, One Punch Man. They're there in Walmart, in Target, and there's a huge pickup. People are buying those comics. Manga is growing as a segment, and as much as we want to talk about manga has better content and etc. Manga has its biggest asset, availability. It's there. That sometimes you win the battle by showing up, and especially if nobody else shows up. And this is kind of the situation in places like Walmart, like Target, where manga is showing up to play, and the U.S. publishers typically are not. So I go into Walmart and I'm like, I want to kind of just see what's going on. I'm curious, where comics are sitting right now, because a while back, the DC 100-page giants were sort of tucked away with the trading cards. They were up at eye level, so that was good. But there was kind of a little stand that they'd created, and a couple things that had to promote the comics. But it wasn't where you intuitively would think to go. And the way it was stationed in the store is typically after you come out of the register, there's in this section of cards that are kind of parallel to it. So it's unclear, do I go there and then I make my way into the store and I buy, or do I buy and then I spot this stuff and I have to go back and buy again? It's not great placement where these things are at. So I was curious if they got better there, and my eye immediately got taken by a manga display that was sitting kind of as you walked in Walmart and you saw the main aisle, and then there were some magazines and books kind of in the store a little ways, and you could see a little stand up where they were selling tankobon type manga, little graphic novel manga display, and it looked about half empty, and that's what kind of caught my eye right away, is that it seemed to have a lot of dead shelf space in here. But I went in there. I made my way over to in there, and I made my way to this area, and I saw the manga stuff. So I then started looking around. Are any of these DC giants here? Is there any DC comics anywhere? And there was a couple of the Marvel 5-minute kids stories in the book section, and there was a poster book for how to understand manga, which was kind of funny, and then some coloring books that were using MCU characters, and then there were some magazines there that were promoting basically the Batman movie, but no comics. The comics were absent in the book section and the magazine section. Everything that, if you walked into the store, you would, if you were thinking, I'm curious if they have comics, that's where you would go. You would go to books and magazines. Logically, that's where your brain would tell you to go. That makes a lot of sense. So failing to find anything, I made my way back to the front of the store, and there I found the kind of small assortment of plushies and blind box eggs and trading cards where the DC 100-page giants used to be. And I looked quickly. I'm like, nope, there's no comics here. The 100-page giants are gone. That program is over. But it's like, all right, that we're all done with this. Okay. And then I was about to leave, and then I saw what looked like Mr. Miracle, and I'm like, oh, what weird, Mr. Miracle. Kind of caught my eye, and it looked like a more modern issue of Mr. Miracle, relatively, a couple months old. And so I doubled back, and sure enough, on the bottom shelf, tucked between Yu-Gi-Oh! and just some kind of random sports trading card holders, things that were, holders for holding trading cards. Basically, the little plastic sleeves. There was a tiny little bin that said DC New Comics Monthly, $12 value for $4.99. And it was a package of 4 comics bundled together kind of randomly that included Nubia, I Am Batman, and Mr. Miracle. And I couldn't tell what the other comic was. It didn't. I when I flipped it over, I got another copy of Nubia. So I couldn't ever tell what the fourth comic in this bundle actually was from the assortment, or if there was more than one assortment. It didn't look like it. But you know, a whole bunch of things wrong with this. But first of all, just saying the obvious, stating the obvious. This isn't bringing back the newsstand. No part of this is bringing back the newsstand on any level whatsoever. This is, you're selling comics in Walmart, congratulations, but it's a bundle pack of 4 books. You have no choice of the books you're getting. All of the books, or at least 3 out of the 4 books, I couldn't tell what the 4th book was featuring a African American black character. African American doesn't work for Nubia, right? If they're featuring a black character. Nothing wrong with that, but it was odd to me that was basically the bundle pack they had was all DC black characters. I wouldn't have been surprised if the 4th book tucked in there was Static, just because it seemed like that was what they were marketing, which I thought was okay, but again, strange. Why those 4 books? I'm genuinely puzzled. Why did they go with those 4 books? Nothing wrong with them all being black characters, but given that black characters at DC represent a fraction of what they're putting out, that seemed like a strange choice to go with. Also, is that really the best way to promote this? Promote some of these characters. You're basically saying, hey, if you're interested in Nubia, you're going to have to take, Mr. Miracle and Batman as well. I don't know. It was the genres don't mix. It was strange. It was very, very strange. And then also on top of that, saying it's a $12.99 value for $4.99, basically saying it's a third of the cost. It doesn't make anyone who's picking that up feel like they are getting something of value. It feels like they're getting remnant. It feels like they're getting the junk that basically we didn't sell in other places. Which, when you combine that with the fact that all of the comics are selling are of the black characters, it feels more insulting than anything else. It feels like I don't know. It all came across weird. I think that DC has proudly promoted new black characters. Great. But if they're then selling them at just slashed discounted rates in a bundle pack on the lowest possible shelf in Walmart, tucked between a bunch of crap, which I also have to point out seem to be selling better. I said Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I guess they're Magic cards. Those seem to be picked through pretty good. People were buying that stuff. That's not a ringing endorsement of your characters and kind of the strength and the power of what they bring to the table. In fact, it's very much the opposite of that. It looks like here's some garbage we couldn't sell, and so we threw 4 of them together, slashed the price by 66%, and here you go. You could buy it, and we don't even really care about it that much because it's a tiny box down in the bottom shelf and with a bunch of other random crap that you wouldn't naturally associate with comics. I mean, blind box toys and Magic the Gathering cards. I mean, in comics, I guess that fits, but why not put that in the magazine section? Why not put that with the books? Why not put that with the manga? That does seem to be selling well. And by the way, nobody was buying this. The box was stuffed. Now it's possible, very, very possible, that just that morning, some Walmart employee went and filled up the box, but based on the age of the comics that were in that box, I don't think so. It felt like pretty sure it's been there for a while. Is this the best? Is it the best that we can do for comics? If this is bringing back the newsstand, well, I mean, you're not bringing back the newsstand. Stop kidding yourself. You're actually not. No part of this is reinvigorating the market with comics. No part. You are, you're not making any progress here. I think that the newsstand and trying to bring it back to some extent is critical for comic sales. I think we have to figure that out if we're going to get new readers. Forget whatever new characters, whatever diversity initiatives you want to do, whatever you want to do. If you want to get new readers into comics, you're going to have to go where those new readers are. You're going to have to promote them. You're going to have to put your best foot forward. You're going to have to get them excited about reading comics. This effort is not going to get anybody excited about comics. And to prove it, you could just literally look at how the store treats it, how they view it. You could look at how much is being bought, which is none, and it tells the whole story. Um, I, I don't know. To me, it was the sad part. It was embarrassing more than anything else. That was my takeaway. Is just kind of embarrassment. This is not a serious effort to comics. And if you're going to have to put it out there. And again, it's not like the store didn't believe in kind of graphic novel comic storytelling, because I guess I forgot to mention there was a huge shelf of Scholastic stuff. Babysitter Club, doing great. Dogman, all that kind of stuff. Sequential art in a book form, whether it be manga, whether it be YA kid stuff. Those were, the people at Walmart had figured out where that goes. They were prominently displaying that stuff. The comic books, and this is a hell of a deal. I mean, good Lord, $5 for comics. I mean, that's a better deal that is priced right. We've done lots of videos talking about how you get the price at an entry level price. Well, they have done that in this case. The price is right. Books are cheap, but every other aspect of this suggests that nobody believes this is actually going to be successful. I think bundling the books up together is dumb, especially you're bundling Mr. Miracle, Nubia, and I Am Batman. Those three books bear close to no resemblance to each other. I guess Mr. Miracle and Batman, maybe. Oh, by the way, this is the Shiloh Mr. Miracle, not the Scott-free Mr. Miracle. Maybe those two characters kind of street level ish, but I mean, this Mr. Miracle's it's a cosmic book. It's even drawn in somewhat of a cosmic style at times. Nubia and the Amazons, very different thing. I Am Batman, Jace Fox, urban street level superhero, no powers. Like, those three books do not resemble each other in any way but one: the skin color of the main character, which I don't know. Again, maybe I'm wrong here, but I don't think people are walking into the store going, what I need is a bundle pack of 4 black superheroes. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm here to say. And again, I may be wrong about that, but the shelf suggests I'm not. I don't even know what to make of this. This isn't going to be successful at all. I don't know. They say a picture tells 1,000 words, but I'm looking at trading cards, including things I have no concept of what it is. There is Yu-Gi-Oh. Okay, there's some Magic the Gathering cards. There's a bunch of binders. There's a bunch of other stuff. Some Topps baseball cards. The Topps baseball cards seem to be selling. Like, half of the display was gone. I mean, for Christ's sake, we're selling baseball cards successfully, but we can't sell comics. We live in a world where baseball cards is a hotter property, hotter commodity than superhero comics, which are making $1 billion in the box office. That world is broken. That is a broken world. I can think of, people, longtime listeners know I find baseball to be the most boring sport in the history of mankind. But anyway, I don't know. I don't know. What can you make of all this? I don't think it's a serious effort if this is your approach, and if we're thinking that the newsstand needs to come back, and it does, so we can start getting new readers in comics and doing more things. Good effort. This is a failure. This is absolutely not going to accomplish anything, and it's not. Again, proof is in the picture. So how do you fix a newsstand? I mean, let me know in the comments below. But what do you make of this? This is failure, right? It seems like it. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Like and subscribe, and thanks for listening.